Today we're looking at 7 pop songs which on the surface seem like harmless poppy schlock, but when you dig into the lyrics they're actually way darker and deeper than the melody lures you into believing. Hopefully these songs won't feel like they belong in the I'm 14 and this is deep subreddit, but that's for you to decide. Also, I'm bound to miss some gems, so let me know of any others that belong on this list. With that out of the way, let's look at number 1, Queen's song Bohemian Rhapsody. Now, I'll be honest, I've only just started trying to find the true meaning of these lyrics, emphasis on the word try, as there's a million possible interpretations. For years I thought it was just gobbledygook. Maybe it was because I'd always pictured that Wayne's World scene. Its silliness must have made me overlook the sincerity that was hiding in plain sight. Looking past the intentionally absurd delivery of Freddie Mercury, the narrator's questioning whether he's able to escape the consequences of his own actions, specifically killing someone and being put on trial for his crimes. That interpretation seems pretty clear-cut in the start of the first verse.
Mama just killed a man, put a gun against his head, pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Mama, life had just begun, but now I've gone and thrown it all away.
Zooming out a bit, there's an element of escaping conventions. I don't mean to label murder as convention breaking, although I guess it is a bit, but that's not what I mean. Not only is the long run time and experimental sound unconventional, but also the titular word Bohemian is as well. He's referring to a group of 19th century artists who are known to reject the convention of their time, operating as free spirits, disorder in an ordered society. This is where another interpretation starts to grow legs about the song actually being about Freddie coming out of the closet. With that context in mind, here's some of the second verse and see what you think.
Goodbye, everybody, I've got to go. Gotta leave you all behind and face the truth.
Some people say he's speaking to his family and his former partner, Mary Austin here. Freddie Mercury's biographer, Leslie Ann Jones, is adamant that these lines represent Freddie killing his old self and being reborn into his bisexual form. The British lyricist Tim Rice also concurs with Jones, saying, "It's fairly obvious to me that this was Freddie's coming out song." Rice even hinted that he confirmed this with Queen's drummer Roger Taylor, but we only have his word for it. Onto the line itself, Freddie's saying goodbye to his family, and if we go with Rice's view, he feels that they won't accept his new identity, and so he must say goodbye to his old self that was a lie that he was living. But connecting this with the line in the third verse, "I see a little silhouette of a man," feels weird not saying Scaramouche at the end of that, he finds saying goodbye to this old mask daunting, as he'll need to get used to his new identity, which fills him with uncertainty and fear. A silhouette is an apt comparison for his old self, as a silhouette is one tone and featureless. It may be palatable for others to digest, but it's an underdeveloped lie that he needs to get away from. As I don't want this analysis to run for as long as the song's length, I'll leave it there and move on to the second song, the Bee Gees song Staying Alive. This is another one I was oblivious to its meaning. All I knew was that it's the same beat to keep to perform CPR on someone, but it's so catchy, if I was having to resuscitate someone, I'd end up singing it like a psycho. The song also brings to mind Travolta's charismatic strut in Saturday Night Fever, which the song was written for. Still holds up, by the way. In the late Bee Gee Robin Gibbs words, it's about survival in the streets of New York, feeling isolated and refusing to be defeated. The legend goes that he wrote this on an airplane ticket and was originally called Buried Alive, which would have been a much more morbid choice. But it doesn't change the nihilistic lyrical content littered throughout the song. Don't take my word for it, hear this existential helplessness for yourself.
Life going nowhere, somebody help me, yeah.
We've all felt this at one point or another in a dead-end job with a creeping realisation that you're not destined for greatness. This tracks with Travolta's character Tony in Saturday Night Fever, who wants to be appreciated for his dancing but is stuck in a hardware shop. To reference an earlier line, he's been kicked around since he was born and he's desperate for a change. The start of the second verse takes this desperation to another level, with an accurate description of what it feels like to be depressed. Although you wouldn't expect that darkness from the high-pitched vocals. Have a listen. If I can't get either, I really try. There's nothing worse in life than feeling hollow. You even crave the lows, as at least it makes you feel something. It can suck all motivation out of you to even get out of bed in the morning. Anyway, that got depressing real quick, so let's move on to the third song on the list, Money for Nothing, by Straits, which coincidentally also follows a character who works in a hardware shop. In the song, the narrator's expressing his resentment of being working class, criticising wealthy musicians. Although it's not the most lyrically nuanced song on the list, there is more than meets the eye. It's also been misjudged for the use of the F-word slur, which the singer Mark Knopfler clarified was used to show the divide between the vocab of a hardware worker in New York with a musician on MTV. The narrator's envious of these MTV musicians and doesn't believe it's a real job because of their fake personas. Paraphrasing the third verse, he wishes he just learned to play the guitar and the drums, then he would be rich. He'd have money for nothing, see what I did there? And wouldn't have to work in the hardware shop ever again. All he does is install microwave ovens and move refrigerators, so where's the glamour in that? The way he copes with his working class life is to sneer at the yo-yos, as he puts it, which is slang for idiots, who are puppets for the music industry, nothing more. Along the same lines is Pulp's song Common People, being about the working class lifestyle. The difference being with this one is it's from the perspective of a wealthy girl who the singer Jarvis Cocker speaks to, who likes the aesthetic of the working class life. That doesn't mean she actually wants to be working class, God no. She just wants to dip her toe in that grimy pool and return to her cosy mansion in the evenings. Jarvis takes her to a supermarket, somewhere she probably doesn't frequent much, and goes, "Pretend you got no money." As she can't even convince not having money, she just laughs at him and says, "Oh, you're so funny." Jarvis takes that as an insult and retorts, "Yeah, well, I can't see anyone else smiling in here." Her lack of awareness is reiterated at the end of the chorus here.
But she didn't understand, and she just smiled and held my hand.
He knows that no matter how much she tries to pretend, she won't fool anyone. Everybody hates a tourist, as he sings in the third verse. In the bridge, Jarvis says she can never be anything more than a tourist, because when you're laid in bed at night watching roaches climb the wall, you'd just call your dad to stop it all. So the message of the song is to stop glamorizing poverty and erasing your past, but live your own life authentically. Next up is another working class perspective, maybe I should have changed the title at this point, Bruce Springsteen's song Born in the U.S.A. For years I dismissed this song as just a paint-by-numbers patriotic song that pandered to Americans, but I couldn't have been more wrong. It's actually about a Vietnam veteran returning to economic hardship and abandonment. He doesn't explicitly say Vietnam in the song, although he does say the Yellow Man and isn't talking about The Simpsons, but the proof's in his demo that was originally called Vietnam Blues, and had a more sombre, down-tempo instrumental. The lyrics tackle feelings of isolation, not recognising the world after returning. Bruce confirmed this interpretation, saying, "It's about a working-class man in the midst of a spiritual crisis, in which a man is left lost. It's like he has nothing left to tie him into society anymore. He's isolated from the government, isolated from his family, to the point where nothing makes sense." Throughout the song, he tries to stay afloat and get a job, but the hiring man tries to let him down easy, going, "Son, if it was up to me." Then the ex-soldier tries to get money at the Veteran Affairs, but gets let down again. It then takes a turn in the fifth verse, where we hear that he's locked up in prison. Not uncommon for war vets at the time. Dejected and disillusioned at the world, like Travolta's character in Saturday Night Fever, he ends this verse with this tragic line.
I'm 10 years burning down a road, nowhere to run, got nowhere to go.
Next up is the most mainstream pop song on this list, so brace yourself. It's Lorde's song Royals. Although it's not my cup of tea musically, I have to give props to the lyrics as they're not as basic as I thought. Lorde's critiquing consumerism, specifically the fantasy of it all and the empty promises of celebrity culture. You could say she's prophetic as it's only accelerated and gotten crazier since the song came out. It's also a diss on pop music itself, which negatively influences people to constantly want the next thing, whether it's a product or a lifestyle that's just out of reach or completely unattainable. This plays out in the pre-chorus.
But every song's like gold teeth, grey goose dripping in the bathroom, bloodstains, ball gowns, trash in the hotel room. We don't care. We're driving Cadillacs in our dream.
That last line's underrated as she's refusing to get caught up in materialistic commodities and is happy enough enjoying the equivalent in her mind. This means she can resist the guilt of what message it sends to her fans if she was suddenly in a music video flaunting a real Cadillac. The final one on the list, well done if you're still here by the way, is Hozier's song Take Me to Church. I won't keep you long with this one as you do probably already know the meaning, but the reason I still think it belongs is because I dismissed this song as being basic, but I mistook its rawness for simplicity. If you didn't know the general meaning of the song, Hozier has you covered.
You know, this idea that powerful organizations use people's sexuality in order to mobilize people against women, against gay people. And the justification behind that is often religious in nature.
As there's so many dense lines in this song, I struggled to decide which lyric to pick out. I settled on the beginning of the chorus as it summarises the message of the song. Have a listen.
Take me to church, I worship like a dog at the shrine of your life. I'll tell you my sins and you can sharpen your knife. Offer me that deathless death, the good God, let me give you my life.
With Hozier likening worship to being like a dog with their owner, he's commenting on the pure, unwavering devotion of the followers of certain religious organisations. He's not saying they're all bad, but there are more extreme ones out there who weaponise your sins against you to keep you in line. Then add on to that the promise of a deathless death, meaning the hope of a heaven after you've lived your life here, and you'll repress any behaviour that you're told is sinful. In his words, they'll sharpen the knife to keep you in line, in that exclusive queue for heaven. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see any of my other lyric breakdowns, check out this playlist here. See you next time.